I was a sophomore in college when I was assaulted.
I was only 4.
I've attended many parole hearings for my mother's killer.
I felt helpless.
But now I have a voice.
Because I'm not alone. Because I can.
ICANN Crime Victims Assistance Network provides comprehensive victim services, including counseling and assistance at parole hearings free of charge to victims and survivors of violence. Visit ican-foundation.org.
We're here to help.
The project was supported by funding awarded by Federal Grant Fund 2019-V2GX0053 through the Cal OES.
It's no secret that real estate has been a solid long-term investment play for just about everyone. So with rents skyrocketing, how can you take advantage and buy some rental property to get in on the action? Good news. Owning now offers a double play cash out loan program where you can refi your mortgage to take out the cash you're sitting on in your home's equity. Then you find a rental property where your cash out refi covers the down payment. The rent covers the new mortgage payment. Owning provides the purchase mortgage. And boom, you're a real estate investor. Of course, you need good credit and enough verifiable income, but why not call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if the double play is right for you.
For qualified borrowers.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Call 833-303-2160 for terms and conditions. Equal housing lender.
That's 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com.
I jotted down some notes that just popped into my head about the Dolphins game. And I mentioned it to Will. They added talent. They're way worse. Way worse. They're a 10-win team last year.
Yeah.
They are way worse.
Man. It hurts to hear, but when you think
Right?
about it, you're not wrong.
I mentioned Myles Gaskin. I didn't understand where he was yesterday. They are, set on Malcolm Brown, and I don't get it.
Oh, no. I talked about it with Will, I'm not saying we're going to be a running monster in this league, but maybe try to run more. See if it works. This Jacoby Brissett doing everything is not working.
Jalen Waddle looked like he was going to have a game, and then they stopped throwing to him. He was making some moves. They got the ball out to him, and he was juking a little bit. He had, an 18-yard gain at one point in the first. I think he had 3 receptions. Were they all in the first quarter?
All 3 were in the first quarter.
And then he got 1 target in the second half. He had 3 receptions in the first quarter, ended with 3 receptions. I didn't understand that.
Exactly what we've been begging for, giving him the ball and let him work in space. And he started doing it. He started making a guy miss.
You started to see why he was drafted so high.
Okay, let's see it. No. He looked too good on those first 3. Let's leave him alone. And it's not like they were doubling him or anything like that. They just weren't. They stopped looking for him.
I was annoyed. I wrote this down in one of my notes. I was annoyed that Brian Flores chose to punt instead of kicking a long field goal with this great field goal kicker that we have.
What was that, 50 plus?
Yeah. It was 54 or 55 yards.
Yeah.
That's literally, on a nice day, that is not out of the question, especially for Jason Sanders. I did not understand the punt there.
But would you believe in your offense if you were Brian Flores?
No, I would believe in kicking a field goal.
From there, the game was still in hand at that moment.
Right. Kick a field goal. You need points.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in your offense, which you can't, you need points. Kick the field goal.
You're right.
Indianapolis was banged up yesterday, and they didn't look like it against the Dolphins. I mentioned Jakeem Grant. Jacoby Brissett has a habit sometimes when the pocket is collapsing or when he's about to be sacked, he drops the ball or just throws it in front of him. And it doesn't matter if there's a receiver there. He gets called for grounding. He fumbled because he did that weird thing with the ball. There's just so many – there are so many issues. Frustrating.
Mr. 305.
Dale.
God bless. Dale.
Dale.
Thank you, Jimmy.
But that goes back to the discipline. Like the rule, once a defender grabs you, you tuck the ball, you secure the ball. Take the sack. Don't make something bad worse. That's all coaches say. Don't make a bad situation worse. And that's what Jacoby does.
Yeah.
With that trying to just you're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not gonna flip it 30 yards. That's not what you're made like. A guy grabs you and you know you're going down, tuck the ball, take the sack, 3rd and 17, whatever it is. Now you give the fumble now to get it to the 6-7 yard line. They're gonna score on that play. That's the discipline part. The muff punt, discipline. Scarlett jumping off sides on a punt, discipline. The onside kick, I don't even know if it's discipline or just a terrible decision.
Just a terrible kick.
Like, you go through it and pick through it. They asked Flores in the press conference, like, your team is known to be disciplined. This team is not following what we've seen in the past. If you take those three, the muff punt, the offsides, because that when Scarlett jumped offsides, that led to a scoring drive.
Yep.
That would have been our ball.
They were giving up the ball.
You take away those two plays and the Jacoby Brissett fumble, I don't know how that game ends.
Right.
But just the discipline, and that's when you don't know when those plays are going to happen, but that's the discipline, and it was 100% correct, and Flores is going to talk around it. We're doing the same thing at practice. I emphasize the same things. It doesn't look – this team does not – like you're saying, they're flat out more talented. This does not look like the teams we've seen in Brian Flores over in the past.
I mean, Joe Shad in the Palm Beach Post, he tweeted out, right now Miami is a bad football team. After a 10-win season last season and getting better via the draft and free agency, you shouldn't be a bad football team right now. And they're a bad football team right now.
When you rebuild, usually go foundation, then you got to go first floor, then second floor. And you can't rebuild and go down. Like, you can't be first floor, then foundation again. That's not a rebuild.
Right.
That's a
demolition.
demolition.
I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think it's getting better any better on Sunday, by the way.
And that's why I asked about if Tua comes back, does he fix this? Because that's all we're missing.
You got to know.
Like I said, am I wrong? Like, all we're missing is Tua. Does Tua come back and fix all – he's not going to fix these special teams.
Well, the problem is, see, to me, it's not Tua. There was another Joe Shad tweet. Let me find it here. Joe Shad from the Palm Beach Post tweeted out yesterday, the Dolphins had one offensive play of longer than 11 yards through the first 3 quarters, and then 4 such plays in the fourth quarter. And he writes, this mostly reflects on the play callers and the quarterback. Obviously, other factors, too, like the offensive line and the receivers. But when they've been forced to go vertical because they're trying to make up, points in a quick period of time, they have been able to move the ball down the field. And in the first 3 quarters, they weren't doing so because they weren't under the gun to do so. Yeah. So, yes, Tua is the only thing that's missing, but there's a serious problem, I believe, with the play calling. And again, it's the Chan Gailey thing from last year. Is he dumbing down the play calling because he knows if he, gives you the razzle-dazzle, it's not going to look good because he sees it in practice? Like, that was the whole thing with Chan Gailey, right? It looked different when Tua was out there versus when Ryan Fitzpatrick was out there. Okay, now you've got this 2-headed monster calling offensive plays, maybe 3-headed monster, and the play calling is bad because they're not moving the ball vertically. And the question becomes, well, is the play calling that because they are trying to hide serious deficiencies on the offensive line, which we all know, and in the running game? And by the way, if there are serious deficiencies in the offensive line and the running game, that's a Chris Greer issue. Mm-hmm. Like, so to me, it's more than just Tua. I want Tua back. I want to see what he can do. I want them to open up the offense. But, man, to me, there's a lot of stuff to correct, and I think the play calling is part of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And one thing that sticks out to me, you bring up the 4 big plays. 2 of those were just throwing it up to Devontae Parker, and he went up and embarrassed people. But do you remember that him and Fitzy did it last year a lot? Him and Tua did it last year a lot. What's the problem saying one-on-one with Devontae? Throw him the damn ball.
That's what I'm saying. Throw a 50-50 ball once in a while. You understand on a 50-50 ball that it may get picked off, that it may not go your way. It may get batted down. But you also might get a defensive PI, or you may come down with a nice reception from Devontae. Like, why not throw some more of those 50-50 balls?
That's the thing that got to me when they started doing it. And you said they weren't forced to do it. Why should you get forced to throw the ball to Devontae Parker in one-on-ones? We saw it last year. He can do it. That we watched it. Just single high. I don't know. They're talking about Charlie Fries talking to the guys. If you're single high, I tell the story with Brandon Marshall. He got up in the team meeting and looked at Chad Henne and said, if I am one-on-one, throw the ball real far and real high. Flat out, team meeting. He was on one. Brandon was in his head sometimes, but it was cool to see a dominant physical athlete say, hey, I don't care who's in front of me. I'm going to go get this rock for you, Chad. Why can't they do that to Devontae? Now, I'm a Devontae critic. He's going to be on the injury list every time. I've called the man onion skin paper and all that. If he is healthy, he can go up and get a 50-50. We've watched it. You don't even have to scheme that, Hawk.
Right.
Like, we got to get in bunches and motion and reset. Just
see him one-on-one. Throw it far. Throw it high.
Yes, that's the thing about it, where the logical things, Mike Gesicki on these seam routes, the logical things. There is so much X and O, minutia that you can put into play calling, and then there's obvious stuff. We're missing the obvious stuff. I don't even want you to become, Sean McVay. I just want you to do some obvious stuff right now, and that's what we're missing.
Let's get headlines here. 3 o'clock hour headlines with our own Alejandro Solana.
These headlines are sponsored by Golf Miami-Dade with 5 convenient courses. Book your tee time today at golfmiamidade.com. The Dolphins, are now 10.5-point underdogs when they'll be in Tampa Bay next Sunday.
Dolphins with the points.
Oh, God. What? Were you not here for the last 10-minute conversation we just had?
Lock it in.
What? What's happening? Easy money?
Easy money. Easy money.
Are you guys hearing an alternate feed of this show?
Bro, 10.5 is huge.
What?
It's a huge number.
All right. I'm going to have to talk to you guys, obviously, throughout the week.
Oh, boy. It'll go back down.
It's not going down. I think it goes up.
I think it gets to 11, 12?
I think it might get to 11 or 12, yeah.
Whew, man. You know what? The Bucks they won, but played a tight game. You think they have a little emotional down after going to New England? Yeah, never mind. I sounded dumb.
God, what else you got, Solana?
A report on Will Fuller. He has a broken finger. He's expected to be week to week.
All right.
Yesterday, in the game of the week, Sunday Night Football, the Bucks, they beat the Pats 19-17. Patriots missed a 55, I think, yard field goal at the end. 56-yard field goal at the end. They end up losing. They're now 1-3. Tom Brady did pass Drew Brees, who was in attendance as the NFL's all-time passing leader, and Bill Belichick set up a private meeting with Brady after the game.
All right. I was glued to that last night, man.
Yeah. And it was a hell of a game.
It was. It was entertaining.
Boring game.
No, it was entertaining.
Don't do that.
I like those games.
It was a defensive game.
I love it.
But didn't you love the drama of it where Tom Brady comes down, they get the field goal. Then if the Patriots hit that field goal, which I was praying for them to do, Tom Brady has 50 seconds. Yep. Too much time.
That's too much time.
I mean, but to me, it played out perfectly. It absolutely delivered on being appointment television.
First 5-6 minutes were great. You got the Brady encore. People were chanting Brady before the game. Then he comes on the field. I think all of us were shocked. They were booing him when he came onto the field. I was surprised by that. And then late in the game, you get the drama. But it was a boring football game.
How about this Matt Nagy here? I'm watching him on ESPN. So the Bears won. Justin Fields threw for like 200 yards, and he has announced today that if Andy Dalton is healthy, he will start on Sunday.
Is he trying to get fired?
I don't know. I mean, as bad as you think things might be here, imagine doing radio in Chicago or imagine doing radio in Jacksonville today.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Urban will give you a storyline, though.
Herb is a content machine.
What was those hands, Herb?
Herb reminds me of you. You gave me advice once. Get in a fight or you get, like, the police come around or whatever. Just fall down and, say you're injured. You don't remember anything.
Go to sleep.
Herb's got a little bit of a thing. Like, if this whole thing at the bar heats up, he's going to say his heart hurts. He's got, that's his thing.
Yep.
Like, he knows that gets him out. Yeah, you got the fall asleep method. He's got the heart issue thing. Yeah.
Oh, no, she was my doctor's daughter. I was just taking her out.
You're talking about my cardiologist? Is that who you're talking about? All right, anything else, Solana?
The Jets, they beat the Titans 27-24 in overtime. The Bills beat up on the Texans 40-0. Tonight, Monday night.
That line was 17.5, if you remember, and we thought that was too much, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
That Houston quarterback. Did you see any of the stats there of what that guy set? I don't know, the neck,
Mm-hmm.
He set records for futility. Did you see what his QBR was?
No. Miles Davis?
Is that what his name is?
Davis Mills.
Davis
Houston.
Mills, Miles Davis.
Davis Mills.
Neck.
Quarterback. Rating. Let's see here. I gotta find. Go ahead. Do your.
Tonight, Monday Night Football, Chargers, Raiders, 8:15 p.m. You can hear the game on 560. Chargers favored by 3. Heat basketball is back tonight. They host the Hawks, your first preseason game. I don't believe the game is on TV, by the way, because you mentioned the broadcast. But Jason Jackson.
It's on Sun Sports.
Valley Sports Sun?
Valley Sports Sun.
For sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason Jackson will be on the call tonight on 790 The Ticket.
Davis Mills. Here's the headline. Texans Davis Mills posts worst NFL QB performance in 3 seasons. And did you see what his QBR is?
0.8.
0.8. 0.8. 1 if you want to round up.
Round up.
Is that all? I mean, what?
That's
Which is why the Bills were a 17.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they should have been. Why? The first thing popping in my mind is, why is Cam Newton on the street?
Why is Cam? Well, here's why though, and I think part of it is where he wants to go. If you're a team calling Cam Newton and you're saying you're going to be the guy up until Tyrod is healthy, up until Tua is healthy, like he doesn't want that. I don't want to come in here and be a mercenary for 3 weeks.
You're too old to be the dude.
Well, I don't think he's ready for.
That's the problem. And talking to him, he was on the podcast and all. He doesn't understand that. Yeah, Brady and them are different. Most quarterbacks at 33, nobody's giving you the reins to their team. You're too old. Oh, Big Ben looks so old.
Oh, my God, Big Ben. Big Ben.
The thing is, Drew Brees retired. I say Brady's a different animal. Big Ben, yeah, they're working there with
it's about time.
Phillip Rivers. Like we're going through a big transition right now at the quarterback position.
Inter Miami lost 1-0 to Portland. They'll play New York Red Bulls on Saturday. UF, they lost to Kentucky. And FIU lost the Shula Bowl 58-21 to FAU. Tomorrow, Red Sox, Yankees in the AL wildcard game. That's at 8:08 p.m. That was a pretty crazy stat about the neck guy. But what about this stat that took over MLB Twitter over the weekend? In the Seattle Mariners' 44 years of existence. You guys see this? They've experienced more ruptured testicles, 5, than playoff appearances, only 4.
Wow. I mean, you don't ever want to be on the wrong side of that stat.
What causes a ruptured testicle?
Something. They drink a lot of coffee in Seattle. Maybe it's the coffee? Space Needle, maybe something. I don't know.
So if you drink coffee and get on the Space Needle?
Something having to do with Seattle.
Testicle eruption.
I don't know. Makes you wonder about their new hockey team, the Kraken, huh?
He's coming to get those things.
Yeah, the Heat game is on Bally Sports Sun tonight.
But you're sure it's on TV on Bally Sports, or do you have to stream it on Bally Sports?
It is on Bally Sports.
My mistake.
Yep.
Your weather from the Demesman and Dover Accident Attorney Weather Center. Call 24/7, 866-954-MORE. Partly cloudy right now. Real hot outside today. Tonight the lows will drop into the mid-70s. That's your weather.
All right. We still have a lot to get to today. We're going to continue to discuss the Dolphins game. I'm going to have a stern talking to Crowder and Solana about their bet on the Dolphins next Sunday. I don't know exactly what transpired this segment for that to happen. And we got other stuff to get to today as well. A lot of stuff. So don't go anywhere. More Hockman and Crowder next.
You're listening to the Hawk and Crowder Show. COVID-19! COVID-19! Hawk and Crowder.
So Adam Beasley wrote on Pro Football Network. Adam Beasley used to write for the Miami Herald. Now he's with Pro Football Network. The headline is "A Mess in Miami."
Can't argue that.
Can't argue that. And I don't know if he's talking about college or pro. No, he's talking about pro. It's Pro Football Network. It's Pro Football Network. some of what Adam Beasley wrote. Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores once fired a brand new offensive line coach the first week of training camp. So when he knows something's wrong, he's not one to sit on his hands. You remember that when he did that.
Yeah.
Which means changes could and probably should be coming after 4 very ugly weeks for Miami. The Dolphins lost for the 3rd straight time Sunday to the Indianapolis Colts because they can't move the ball and they can't score. It's a problem when you're trying to win NFL games.
You're still trying to score more than the other team, right?
The offense's sickness is now infecting the entire franchise. This is what Adam Beasley writes, with at least one key starter who's in the prime of his career mulling if he even wants to play beyond this season. Not for the Dolphins, football in general. I think we have to take a look at everything, Flores said after his team gained all of 203 yards and 13 first downs. We'll take a look at everything, blah, blah, blah. If Flores is indeed committed to looking at everything, he should start with who's calling the plays on offense. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly who deserves blame because Flores won't tell us who calls those plays. And again, we aired the press conference at 2:15 today, and he still is not letting it be known. Adam Beasley goes on to write, perhaps Sunday's showing against the Colts will be enough for Flores to make a switch and give Stoodsville or even quarterbacks coach Charlie Fry a crack at it, because the assumption is it's Godsey that's calling the plays. It can't be any worse from what we've seen the last 3 weeks, writes Beasley. Sunday was brutal, but it wasn't anything new. The Dolphins in Week 2 were shut out by the Bills and lost their quarterback to a rib injury in the process and had 7 points from their offense through 51 minutes in Week 3. Really hard to watch, Dolphins Hall of Famer Larry Zonka tweeted while Miami's Week 3 loss to the Raiders was in progress. And he goes on to write, offensive play calling is a glaring weakness. And he writes, opposing players since Week 1 have privately marveled at how rudimentary Miami's system is.
And that's sad at this level.
Right?
To say rudimentary at the NFL level?
Especially when you've added, again, Will Fuller, and now I know he's got the broken finger now, so he's going to be out, but you added Will Fuller and you drafted Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Parker has shown you that he can come down with difficult passes. But I think maybe and Mike Gesicki all of a sudden was non-existent again. Obviously, the receiving core is not what we thought it was going to be.
Who?
I mean, Mac Hollins doesn't get a ball thrown his way. Jakeem Grant doesn't get a ball thrown his way. Was Albert Wilson in the game?
1 target.
I think they threw him a ball once. He did play, but he didn't
1 reception.
Contribute.
Oof.
I honestly feel as if you give this receiving core to another team, it looks different.
So is that the offensive line? Is that the play calling? Is that the quarterback?
All of them put together.
Yeah.
But the the play calling is so simple. Like we just talk about things. You watch the Patriot Buccaneers game last night. You see the pre-snap stuff. Simple as that. Just get guys off balance. Get a little leverage. Motion guys across to get angles. Stack a guy up so he can't be jammed. Like there's so many little things that could be done offensively that from a defensive standpoint, I watched the game very defensive minded because that's what I did my whole life. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're running out routes because everybody's right next to the tackle. Receivers are tight, they're running double outs. Oh, they're spread out, they're going to run crosses. Like, it just clicks as soon. I'm like, I have to be wrong here, and I'm right most of the time watching the Dolphins. But my question is, like, where do you go? You can't hire anybody from outside the facility. You're not bringing in an offensive coordinator that was at Oregon now, and he's going to come over and start calling the offense for Sunday's game versus the Bucs. Do you stay in-house? Because right now, everybody in-house is calling the plays. You have 3 guys calling, like, you got a 4th guy calling play, a 5th guy calling plays. Like, when people say that, you gotta change. Change to what? Flo said in his press conference, he signs off on the call sheet. He said it. He said, when I see the playbook, when I see the approach to the game, I have to like it. And I guess he's liked these approaches they've had. But I guess something not working, make the change. Like you said with the offensive line coach he fired. Like, Flo, this is his third offensive coordinator in 3 years.
Third and fourth.
Yeah. Now fifth, Charlie Fry. Who knows who this guy is? But, like, he'll make a move. But as he sits here today, if he's unhappy, what's the move?
Well, I tweeted out yesterday. I'm glad you asked that. I tweeted out yesterday what I thought was a solution, which makes this at least a little more fun for Dolphins fans. Make everyone an offensive coordinator. Buy a ticket, you're an offensive coordinator. You drove by Hard Rock Stadium this week, you're an offensive coordinator. Own a Dolphins t-shirt, you're an offensive coordinator. Ordered mahi for dinner, you're an offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Just, razzle-dazzle. Make it a little more fun. Hey, I'm going to the Dolphins game. Oh, really? Why are you going to the Dolphins game? They're 1-3, and, I'm an offensive coordinator. Oh, interesting.
Run
Just
game,
spice it up a little
Run
bit.
game.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
If you're sitting there, right, and this is just, okay, I want to run this play. Okay, the offensive line has to hold up. This is a long developing play. Can the O-line hold up, Coach? Coach, I don't know. Okay, that plays out. Okay, now we're going to run this. Hey, can we run this? I don't know if we can get down the field like that.
Okay, but go back to the 50-50 ball then.
Yeah.
But, so you know that the offensive line, a 1 second drop back, zing the ball up in the air. There have to be times where Devontae's covered one-on-one.
You can manipulate that.
Right.
Put Devontae on the right side, and that's where he eats. That's where both his big balls were caught yesterday. Put him on the right side. Pile everybody else on offense on the left side. If they lean a safety,
dare them
to lean over to Devontae's side. Literally, if they put a safety and a corner on Devontae, now you have 10 on 9 over here. You need to be able to take advantage of that, running trips routes on the left side. If they ever leave that safety, you know you're going to Devontae. Bro, it's not genius. I watched him do it last year with Fitzpatrick and Tua in the game. Devontae's one-on-one, throw it up. Throw it up. And that's when he eats. I always tell people, the 12 to 15-yard in cuts and the 50-50 balls, that's Devontae's game. Why and right now, he's your best receiver. I don't know if people understand that.
No question.
Okay, so your best receiver, what he does well is something that happens fast, and you can read it as soon as the ball snapped. It seems easy that Devontae should get 8 50-50 balls a game down the right sideline, make the corner make a play.
This is the Hawk and Crowder Show.
Hey, bro, here you go.
Hawk and Crowder.
And when you say Miami, well, not this season. Not this season.
Don't change the song now, Jack.
Well, I don't have to change it, but I don't know if I can sing along with it in good conscience.
They gonna get it right. I believe in Flo.
All right. How about this? Tomorrow we're going to have a pair of tickets for the Florida Panthers opening game.
Wow.
So that's coming up October 14th, I believe. October 14th, the Panthers open their season. We are going to have a pair of tickets, Florida Panthers opening night, to give away on the show tomorrow. So that's a good prize. All right, let's do our Miami Dolphins question of the day. It's brought to you by Dade County Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Miami Dolphins. You can go to fincu.com for more info.
Dolphins are 1-3.
What?
True or false? Crowder, you mentioned they'll get it right.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say on this show we tend to look at things in a more optimistic point of view, right? Like we don't like to do the doom and gloom.
Correct.
Oh, the season's over.
No doubt. Yep.
But I will ask you the tough question. Being realistic, is it time to kiss the idea of a playoff season goodbye?
That's another Miami Dolphins question of the day.
All right, it's too soon.
Yeah.
In all actuality, but let me look at the Dolphins' schedule here. All right. Because it is too soon. They're just 1-3, and that's. But they do have Tampa this coming Sunday. I do not foresee a dub. But then you've got Jacksonville in London.
Yep.
And Herb in London. Oh, look out!
Cut him loose.
I mean, hide your princesses and
Urban walking around them raggedy-ass London streets.
Look out.
Oh, goodness.
They got a red light district there.
They do.
All right, so this is playing into our favor.
Yes.
And then they got Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
That's a winnable game.
Yep.
Then Buffalo. Well, payback, Jack.
Huh.
Then Houston.
That's-
Seen this guy with the neck?
Neck's terrible.
0.8 quarterback rating.
Necky Johnson's ridiculous.
Then Baltimore. That's a Thursday night game. That one I don't like. We don't do well in prime time. But then you got the Jets.
Got the Jets twice.
They don't impress me.
No.
Panthers. Sam Darnold will be coming back to earth at that point. New York Giants. I mean, they're going to rack up a couple of wins here and there, but it ain't going to be against the Dolphins. Then they got a bye week. Another one against the Jets. The Saints, they're going to be,
Saints on what the Saints are
yeah,
usually.
That's another primetime game. That's a Monday night game. Then you got the Titans. Ryan Tannehill. Aren't they 0-4, the Titans?
Titans
I think they're 0-4. Are they not 0-4?
No, because
make that up?
they beat the Colts, so they're for sure not 0-4.
All right.
But
They counted that victory against the Colts?
Yeah.
They're not what they were last year.
And then they close the season against New England, and you know that we have their number. No chance. Playoffs are out of shot.
It's crazy.
No, it's too early. You're in panic mode. Like, you're in a panic zone right here because I have a feeling that they're not going to be Tampa. I think you're going to start the season 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tough road to hoe.
Yeah, but then in the past, even in that 08 team, like we started, I think 1-3 or something like that, and I know we got whooped. We were 0-2, and I think maybe 1-3 it ended up being, and then we went on a 8 out of 10 something win streak. After they get past Tampa, you brought up Jacksonville, Atlanta, then Houston. They have Baltimore in there, the Jets twice, the Giants. Like, they can get to 10 wins. Will 10-7 be enough? I think 10 will get you talking about playoffs.
I stopped paying attention there for a second. Did you just say they can get to 10 wins?
Get to 10 wins. 13 more left.
I will tell you.
They need 9 wins out of 13.
I will tell you.
9 out of 13. Just said we're positive. The schedule's not hard. Bro. AFC South is terrible.
It just means Tua, when he comes back, if he comes back versus Jacksonville, you're 1-4. It means Tua has to go, what, 10-2?
Bro.
Tua has to go 10-2 for this team to make the playoffs.
Somebody points out on the text machine, we don't do well in prime time or daytime, nighttime, bedtime, or tea time or burger time.
Oh, wait. I have to talk to y'all sometimes. Every now and again throughout athletic seasons. It's one game. There's 13 games left.
I understand.
And it's curtains. No playoffs, no nothing.
No, it's not curtains. But it is not, hey, just win 9 out of 13. That seems...
the schedule's
But I will tell you this, because you mentioned 08. Don't forget just 2 seasons ago. Do you remember they looked to be on the track to be the most epically bad team in the history of the NFL? This was just a couple seasons ago. Mike Greenberg was talking about them on ESPN as being what? An embarrassment to the league. They're putting players' lives in danger. And what they end up with?
5-11. They were 0-9.
Oh, they only ended up with 5 wins?
But no. So listen.
Oh, I thought I had a better point to make there.
You did?
My bad.
0-9. Ended up being 5-11.
You know who they had at quarterback, though?
Fitzy.
Is that Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, that was Fitzy's first one.
Well,
so the Fitzpatrick 0-9 team can go 5-2, and the Dolphins this year can't go 5-2 in 7 games. Y'all see, don't live in the moment. Big picture thinking.
No, but I'm okay with going 5-2, but then you have to go at 4-0 or something. Like,
10-2 in 12 games, Cotter. That's to get to 11 wins.
11 won't be 10. I said 10.
They didn't make the playoffs with 10 last season, and there's an extra game this year.
He said, will there be any talks of the playoff? I think if you can get to 10-7, you'll be there. Will they make it? I don't know, because there's that AFC West is ball. Like there's other teams that are going to get those 3 wild card spots in the AFC, but you will be in the talks if you can get to 10 wins. You get to 10 wins, you'll be talking week 17 or week 18.
You're talking about in just this season or the next season combined. If we get to 10 wins with this season, and are you talking about the Heat? Did we start talking about the Heat?
You can figure it out. Charlie Fry takes over play calling. Man, we got something.
Well, what are you gonna do? It's one of those. It's not. I mean, obviously, this is not the way anyone planned on starting this season. And the reality is, I said this earlier. Look, they're obviously not a Super Bowl team, but we thought this team was drastically improved from last season. What has gone wrong? I mean, they don't look drastically improved. They don't look nearly as good as they were last season. They look drastically worse.
I think it starts with the fat boys. We thought Kenley, Hunt, Austin Jackson, we thought they would get better. They would figure it out. They would progress. You know, that second year. Eichenberg's there. Dieter, they move inside the center. Like, you thought they would figure out this
Greg
O-line
Little
thing.
can't crack the active
If you
roster,
keep bringing up Greg Little.
Well, don't you think that, I mean,
the guy that was traded after going, what was he taken in the first round and he went in the seventh? They traded him for a seventh rounder.
But what's wrong with him that he can't crack the
Now, on this team, it makes sense. Like, hey, you're that bad you can't win one of these jobs?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you. And then even we were listening to the press conference. Omar Kelly's asking to move Austin Jackson to guard. We drafted him as a left tackle, the most important piece of the line. Like, I think it started with the big picture answer to your question is our guys aren't getting better. So the thought would be, is it Chris Greer not getting guys that are talented enough, or were they not developing those guys? Because I'll tell you, I anticipated the O-line being a lot better than they were last year, and they're not. They might be worse.
We've got some breaking news, I think. What do you have here, Solana?
So Barry Jackson has tweeted out that the Dolphins are plucking veteran center Austin Ryder from the Saints practice squad. He's going to feel Dieter's roster spot.
Or fill it. He's going to feel it and then fill it.
He'll feel it.
He's going to feel... He's going to feel Dieter's roster spot, and then he's going to fill it.
That's the news there.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You know what? We were just talking about O-line. I don't know if the Saints practice center is going to help, but at least they're trying to add a piece.
Stop it. I mean,
10 and 3.
At least they're trying to add a piece. They
10
had
and 3.
to. They had an open roster spot. They're not trying to do anything. They just had an open spot.
Man. I'm telling you, I'm going to go find the archives of when I played. I know y'all were killing me.
Hey, play the laughing sound of Crowder for Florida getting beaten by Kentucky. That makes me feel better.
Man.
That does make me feel a little bit better. That does make me feel a little bit better.
You.
This is the Hawk and Crowder Show.
By the way, I was wondering, like, you guys free this weekend or next weekend? Like, we should go watch F9. We should go.
How about FU?
Hawk and Crowder.
Keeping up with the flood of news every single day can be quite stressful. There is climate change happening. There's the pandemic, labor movements, Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend. Hi, I am Gideon Resnick, host of Crooked Media's What a Day. Each week, Travell Anderson, Priyanka Arabindi, Josie Duffy Rice, and I are going to break down the biggest news stories of the day in a way that hopefully doesn't always make you want to cry. New episodes of What a Day drop every weekday at 5 a.m. Eastern. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's no secret that real estate has been a solid long-term investment play for just about everyone. So with rents skyrocketing, how can you take advantage and buy some rental property to get in on the action? Good news. Owning now offers a double play cash out loan program where you can refi your mortgage to take out the cash you're sitting on in your home's equity. Then you find a rental property where your cash-out refi covers the down payment. The rent covers the new mortgage payment. Owning provides the purchase mortgage. And boom, you're a real estate investor. Of course, you need good credit and enough verifiable income, but why not call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if the double play is right for you.
For qualified borrowers.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Call 833-303-2160 for terms and conditions. Equal housing lender.
That's 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com.
I was a sophomore in college when I was assaulted.
I was only 4.
I've attended many parole hearings for my mother's killer.
I felt helpless.
But now I have a voice.
Because I'm not alone. Because I can.
ICANN Crime Victims Assistance Network provides comprehensive victim services, including counseling and assistance at parole hearings free of charge to victims and survivors of violence. Visit ican-foundation.org.
We're here to help.
The project was supported by funding awarded by Federal Grant Fund 2019 V2GX0053 through the Cal OES.